Welcome to this explainer. We're plunging straight into a massive international clash that literally has the footballing world on edge right now. Colombia versus Costa Rica. Okay, so picture this. For the last couple of years, Colombia has been this unstoppable juggernaut, comfortably securing their ticket to the 2026 World Cup. But suddenly, dark clouds are gathering over Bogota just days before kickoff. Literally right when Nestor Lorenzo's machine looked perfectly calibrated, we're seeing mysterious injuries, sudden tactical headaches, and a fiercely determined underdog opponent threatening to completely derail their momentum. It's an absolute crisis brewing for the South American giants. And honestly, the tension in the Colombian camp is so palpable. We're talking about leaked medical reports triggering absolute alarm bells, explicitly calling out tendon problems and physical difficulties for some seriously crucial players. Star striker John Cordoba, he arrived from a grueling European season with Krasnodar carrying a physical issue. Veteran goalkeeper David Ospina suddenly dealing with physical difficulties right upon arriving in Bogota. There's even a leaked video circulating that's generating all this unexpected uncertainty around the team's vibe right before this vital prep match. Act 1. The Wounded Giant. Let's dive right in and look at exactly where Colombia stands today. To really get why there's a sense of panic, you've got to understand their pedigree. Under Lorenzo, Colombia went on this insane 18-match unbeaten run in the brutal South American CONMEBOL qualifiers. They finished third, easily secured their World Cup spot. But take a look at the stark contrast here. In their recent March friendlies, that invincibility just shattered. They suffered back-to-back really alarming losses, a 1-2 defeat to Croatia and a 1-3 loss to France. Suddenly, that untouchable momentum, it's gone.
And this perfectly illustrates why those recent losses are compounding the anxiety we're seeing. Lorenzo is desperately trying to rebuild confidence, but his whole system is being thrown into chaos by the medical team. You've got Joan Cordoba, their traditional physical number 9 who just loves battling center backs, sidelined with tendon problems. Then the veteran rock at the back, David Ospina, is in doubt. Combine these physical setbacks with the weird uncertainty from that leaked camp footage, and you've got a recipe for total instability just days before a must-win game.
Which brings us to Act 2, the striker roulette. Now, what's really interesting here is that this highlights a massive missing piece in Lorenzo's puzzle.
We're talking about the center-forward conundrum. Lorenzo runs a super effective 4-2-3-1 system, occasionally shifting to a 4-3-3. The whole game plan relies on quick transitions, electric pace on the wings from Diaz, and James Rodríguez pulling the strings in the middle. But the one thing he hasn't nailed down, that starting number 9 spot. He's actually experimented with 5 different players in this position just during the qualifiers. So the big question is, with Cordoba carrying an injury, who actually leads the line? Luckily, Lorenzo still has a frankly ridiculous attacking arsenal left to choose from. You've got Rafael Santos Borré giving you relentless high pressing and link-up play. Then there's 21-year-old John Duran, who brings so much versatility and just electric pace. You have Roger Martinez, the ultimate clinical penalty box poacher. And finally, Luis Suarez. No, not the Uruguayan one, but the Colombian space creator who just came off a blistering season with 36 goals for Sporting Lisbon. It is literally a striker roulette, and whoever Lorenzo picks is going to be under immense pressure to deliver. But hey, a wounded giant is only half the story. Act 3, the underdog's trap. Let's shift our focus to the other side of the pitch, where a wounded opponent is setting up a massive, unpredictable ambush. The disparity in recent history between these two is just night and day. While Colombia is polishing its boots for the 2026 World Cup, Costa Rica is swallowing the bitter pill of missing out entirely, which, by the way, is only the second time they failed to qualify since 2002. They finished third in their CONCACAF group and crashed out early. And it gets worse. They're reeling from a brutal 0-5 friendly defeat to Iran and a 2-2 draw with Jordan. It is your absolute classic David versus Goliath setup, and Costa Rica is absolutely starving for a turnaround. But listen, Costa Rica isn't showing up to roll over. To orchestrate this turnaround, their federation pulled a major wild card. They brought in seasoned Argentine tactician Gustavo Alfaro. This guy is known for his strategic acumen and is bringing a whole new era of tactical discipline and defensive foundation. Alfaro arrives with a very clear, completely ruthless rebuilding mandate. Job number 1, implement a robust defensive foundation, something that's honestly always been deep in Costa Rica's footballing DNA. Alfaro is a master at flexibly adapting to opponent weaknesses. He honed that skill during a massively successful, title-winning tenure at Boca Juniors in Argentina. His ultimate goal is to channel the absolute magic of Costa Rica's unforgettable 2014 World Cup quarterfinal run. And springing a trap on a stumbling, uncertain Colombia, that is the perfect way to announce this new era.
All right, Act 4, the tactical matchup. Let's see how this all translates onto the pitch.
Looking at the expected lineups, this is a fascinating story of attack versus defense. For Colombia, if Ospina is fit, he anchors a backline featuring Sanchez and Lukumi. Up ahead, that midfield engine room of Rios, Lerma, and Arias has to completely dominate possession to feed what should be a lethal frontline, expected to feature Rodríguez, Diaz, and potentially the red-hot Luis Suarez. On the flip side, Alfaro is basically building a fortress. Patrick Sequeira starts behind a revamped, deep-sitting defense of Mitchell, Salazar, and Villalobos. Their whole strategy? Absorb Colombia's pressure and then spring lethal counterattacks through Mora and Soto. Honestly, watching Luis Diaz's blistering pace run headfirst into Costa Rica's rigid defensive right flank is going to be pure theater.
So, the stage is officially set at the iconic El Campín Stadium in Bogotá. And even though it's a friendly, the stakes couldn't be higher. Colombia desperately needs to shake off their recent losses, survive these injury hurdles, and finally lock in their striker to build confidence for their World Cup campaign. Meanwhile, Costa Rica is hunting for a massive statement victory to prove that Gustavo Alfaro's sweeping rebuild is actually working. Which leaves us with the million-dollar question as kickoff approaches. Will Nestor Lorenzo successfully navigate this tactical roulette to get his Colombian machine firing again? Or is Gustavo Alfaro's disciplined, defensive Costa Rican rebuild about to spring a massive trap and claim its very first victim? It's a tactical chess match you absolutely do not want to miss. Thanks for joining me on this explainer and enjoy the match.
So, did you find today's explainer useful?
Then definitely drop a like, share it out, and subscribe to join the family.
Tell us, what should we explore next? Stay well.